Blade 2 is probably one of my favorite comic book movies ever made. It follows behind The Dark Knight, Batman Begins, and some of the Marvel MCU movies. However, this movie is fun, action packed, gory, funny. This movie has so much to offer with Chris Christopherson's role as Whistler, with Norman Reedus's uh, performance as Scud, Ron Perlman as Reinhardt, Luke Goss as the main villain, Nomad. This movie has some of the most interesting characters around, as well as probably one of the most interesting plot devices around, with Blade teaming up with the vampires to hunt the Reapers. Um, this movie not only takes the vampire lore to a whole nother level within this movie, it takes a new character and a new species of vampire and makes you very much interested in that story. This movie takes a villain who Marvel, I feel, has a lot of trouble with making these villains very interesting, takes this villain and makes him probably the most badass character in the movie in itself. And that's a tough thing to do when you're going up against Wesley Snipes as Blade. And again, Wesley Snipes playing his most iconic role, I believe, to date as Blade, just more of the badass and well shot movie than the original Blade. Guillermo del Toro does an amazing job directing this movie. These characters are so fun to watch, and anytime any of these characters are on screen, you're having a good time. Ron Perlman, I feel, is kind of steals the show away from Wesley Snipes, which is a good thing. You know, the original movie kind of falls on Wesley to raise the movie to another level as Blade, and that's kind of tough whenever you're playing a character that doesn't have much to say and is more of just kicking ass. So for this movie to go on and add these characters that are talkative, that will say some stuff, and it be very interesting is a really great thing. Of course, yes, with Blade, you get a lot of the ass kicking action, and there's a lot more of it in this movie, and it's so fun to watch. Every action scene, every action montage, it's so beautifully done. Um, you get the first scene with Blade chasing down some vampires, trying to find the location of Whistler. It's so great. Then, of course, you go on, and once he finds where Whistler is, you get more action. Then you get some dialogue, some backstory, what's going on, and it's just action after action after action with some plot mushed in there. And it doesn't feel forced at all. It feels so fluid, and it feels so much of just a great story from beginning to end. I'm looking at these critic reviews, and a lot of them say that character development has been left on the cutting room floor. I don't feel that's true at all. I mean, sure, they don't go into developing every single character, yet they give you so many characters. And sometimes you don't need to go into backstory for every person. I mean, we're introduced in this movie to a team called the Blood Pack. Now, the Blood Pack are a group of vampires who were trained to hunt and kill Blade. And now Blade has to team with these people to take on Nomad, the Reaper, and his group of Reapers. I'm so happy with the story they've given us. I didn't need a backstory. I didn't need to know where Reinhardt came from. I don't need to know why these vampires hate Blade so much. I know why they hate Blade. They're vampires and he's a vampire hunter. To me, I feel like this argument that character development uh, was left out of this movie, to me, that's just a ridiculous complaint. I mean, let's go back and look at the show Buffy. Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You did not need to know the motivations for every single vampire in that show. But you did know the motivations for the main characters. And in this movie, the main characters happen to be Blade, Whistler, Nomad. Um, and you get all of that. You know, we know why Blade's doing what he's doing from the first movie. And this one, it's just more of just him kicking ass. Whistler, you get to know him in the first movie and even a little bit more in this movie. And Nomak, you learn so much about him in just a few short minutes of the movie. Um, no, they don't give you every single detail. They don't tell you how he grew up, any of that. But it doesn't matter. He is a vampire. He's an abomination. He's been created to be the perfect vampire, and it doesn't go well. And now he's out for vengeance. This is a great plot. This is a plot that tells you Blade hunts vampires. Now he has to team with vampires to hunt worse vampires. And every faction within this group hates each other, but they know they have to team together and they have to work together. This movie is more of Nomak against the vampires featuring Blade than it is Blade hunting anybody. Um, just for the fact that, spoilers, the end comes with Nomak finding his father, the head vampire, killing him, and that's all he really wanted. Just to get revenge, and Blade kind of just lets him do it, and it's because he has no allegiance to these vampires, and it's such a great scene. Um, there is a romantic undertone there with one of the vampires. I believe her name is Nissa. I'm not sure. Yes, Nissa. And it's done in a really well directed way. It's not very um kissy kissy. You're not going to see Blade going out and hugging her and kissing her and crying over her. Because again, spoiler, she gets bitten by Nomak and she dies. But as she's dying, or actually as she's turning into this abomination, she wants Blade to take her out and see the sunset. He does. He takes her out, or see the sunrise, I should say. He takes her out, sees the sunrise, and he just holds her. And it's so beautifully done, and you can tell that Blade still has humanity. And it's this weird concept of Blade being part vampire, part human, but his human part falls in love with the vampire. And it's just a very interesting story, and it's so well done and so beautifully shot. Um, Again, yes, the visuals are great. Guillermo del Toro does such a great job. The writing, David S. Goyer, it's probably one of the better things David S. Goyer has done. I can't think of much else he's done after that that's been any good. I know he also wrote Blade Trinity, and there's a lot of writing problems with that. Um, so no, you're not going to see a unpopular opinion video on that one. That one deserves the hate it gets. Let's see here. Oh yes, the costume design. Costume design. They've taken the costume of Blade, updated it a little bit, and it fits. It works. And if you look back through all three movies, even Blade Trinity, his costume changes throughout the movies, and it fits that movie. With the first Blade, it's very basic, very simple, but it's because it's not as big of a story as it was. He's just a vampire working the underground, killing other vampires. This movie kind of sets it up as he's a legend. He's very much known. They even mention it within this movie that Nissa has heard stories throughout her life as a vampire of Blade being the boogeyman. Blade being the monster that the vampires have to fear. So he's very much of celebrity in this world. And his suit becomes a little bit more flashy in this movie, and it kind of fits. Costume design's great, with the blood pack, it's just so beautiful to see all these characters in their costumes, in their outfits doing, it's kind of like the Matrix meets Buffy, it's kind of a fun it's a fun movie to watch from beginning to end. Not much I can say about this movie. It's just kind of mind blowing that it gets the rating it gets. And I'm looking back here and I see that even the original Blade has a 54% on Rotten Tomatoes, and none of this is deserved. Blade is probably one of the most fun comic book movies to date. It's a Marvel movie and it's R rated. If that tells you a lot, considering Daredevil gets, or not Daredevil, ooh shit. Um, Deadpool gets a lot of the praise for being an R rated movie, and then Daredevil, of course, on Netflix being more of an R rated type of show, and it gets all this praise for this, but they fail to realize that Blade did it first, and Blade was so much fun, so entertaining. This is going to be Wesley Snipes' most iconic role. I guarantee you, from years from now, you're going to look back, you're going to see this movie, and you're going to realize that it deserves so much more praise than what it actually gets. The action sequences, everything. The fight scene at the end. There's a fight scene, in these tunnels. There's a fight scene in a club. There's a fight scene at the Blade compound. And before that, finding Whistler and all that. And every single scene is shot so beautifully and so well crafted. You just feel that Blade is just an unstoppable badass. Um, so yeah, if you haven't seen this movie, you've got to go see it. Guillermo del Toro does such a great job with it. Um, Apparently, here it says it made 82 million at the box office, which I feel it should have made more than that. That's probably what makes it so lowly rated. Is A lot of people didn't go out and see this movie, but man, guys, I'm at a loss for words for this one. I didn't think I would have to do a Blade unpopular opinion. I didn't even have time to really write a script or anything because I'm just scrolling through here trying to do some research, and I see that this movie is getting terrible reviews, and I really don't understand it. So yeah, this is very much of just me rambling, trying to defend a movie more than me actually reviewing it. Uh, you guys, this is unjust. This is bad. It does not deserve all this. Blade 2 is such a great movie, you guys. You got to check it out. Please give it another chance. Don't let this unjust win. Don't let it win, you guys. Um, this is why I do this. This is why I do this. This is going back, remembering movies like Psycho and The Shining. Even Shawshank Redemption, which is viewed as probably one of the best movies of all time, and these were critical bombs. They bombed in the box office. And nowadays you look back and they're classics and people love them and they would never be rated so low. And in a world where comic book movies are so popular and so much the mainstream, for a movie like Blade 2, not even just Blade 2, which I feel is the best one out of the trilogy, to be rated rotten with a 57%, that's ridiculous. But I just want to do a quick one real quick for you guys. That's why there's no real script or anything or me really getting into much detail. Just guys, this is ridiculous. So please like like the video, unlike it, like it again, leave a comment, share it. Let the world know that this should not be happening. Need you guys to go watch this movie again. Like most movies, just turn off your brain. Don't look at it to judge it. Look at it to be entertained. That's what movies are for, you guys. You go in to watch a movie to be entertained by a movie. You know, art is art. You don't go into an art museum to look at a drawing or a painting or something and say they messed up here and here and here. You look at it to see what the artist was feeling when they made that painting or something, that sculpture. Movies are the same thing. Movies are an art form. So when watching a movie, don't watch it to find its flaws. Watch it to just be entertained. If you weren't entertained, then that's when you say, I didn't like that movie or it wasn't good. But if you were at all, then please don't let unjust unjust criticism go like this. But anyways, you guys, like I said, like the video, unlike it, leave a comment, share. I've tried recording this so many times, and I should have wrote a script, but I didn't want a video that's just like this, where me just complaining. But this is crazy. All right, you guys. So please, uh, come back, and I'm gonna do another video for you. I was actually working on a different video when I saw this. So here in a couple days, I'm gonna have a new video for you guys, and I'm almost done with playing catch up. Uh, I said I was going to do Borderlands, but I'm thinking of something else. So yeah, playing catch up's coming up. Unpopular opinion, another video. This one's kind of like unpopular opinion light. Then I got another video of Personal 10, which is going to be my top 10 favorite movies of all time. So please come back, check that out, and I will see you guys later.